All right, guys, can we start? Am I audible to all of you? Is the voice loud and clear? Can you just confirm me? All right, okay. So, guys, let's start. See, now we have 80 days left. So we will make the plan for your mains for the next 3 months, 2.5 months, 2.5 months. Okay, so see, guys, most people think that clearing prelims is the most difficult part. In fact, prelims just give you that entry, that's the elimination, right? And now what we have is this 80 days, and this 80 days is what going to decide whether your name will appear in the final list. And interview is going to determine your rank. This is how I take it. So the elimination part is over. Now comes the selection part. And your interview just decide whether you are in the top 100 or 500 or 1000, right? Mains determines your selection. So therefore, this 80 days, that is something which is going to give that dream, right? And next 80 days definitely deserve extraordinary effort from your side. So don't waste your time. Don't think about cutoff and all those, right? I know many of you who are attending the session are up in a better range, so you don't want to think, and you are not going to get anything just by thinking about the cutoff, answer key changes or predictions and all those. Even if your score is borderline, majority of you have borderline also. See, if you are thinking about that, you cannot do anything productive, right? So there is no point in discussing that repeatedly. Result will come when it comes, let it be there, right? So as of now, what I want you to do is act as if you have already cleared the prelims. Now you're preparing for mains. Now when the result comes, whether you clear or not, majority of you will clear. But in case if you are not clearing also, you're not losing the momentum, you are still there, right? But if you lose the momentum now, then that will be a problem. So let's start. Let's try to understand the reality of mains first. See, again, many students, I'll share the screen. In fact, I don't have PPT. I will have to write today. So I'll write. I'm ready to write today. See, many of you think that it's a content-based examination, right? That's not the case. It's not a, content exam. Oh, in fact, that is partially true. But when it comes to mains, it's actually a combination of, first and most importantly, what you need, content, because you need to write whatever they are asking. And then it is also testing your thinking. And it definitely test your, pressure handling capacity also. It will test your recall power also. And it will definitely test your, how you structure your answer. So you're structuring, and then your writing speed is also important. So it's a test of all this, and also time management. Within that limited time, you will have to write, and decision making under pressure. So all these will be tested. So it's not just about content, right? Content maybe 30%. This, actually majority of the aspirants or the students underestimate, especially this last four: structure. Just 1 minute. Okay. So yeah, majority of you think that, it's about content and thinking and recall of the content, right? But ignore these areas: speed that you need to manage, the time that you need to manage, the pressure that you're going to face, and the structure that you need to write. So you blindly assume that I know the topic and therefore I can write the answer. But is that really correct? Unfortunately, UPSC is not going to work in that way. So actually what happens in the mains examination hall? See, let us imagine a real situation that you are inside the examination hall, and you have already written several answers also, and your hand is tired, and the clock is moving fast, the time is going on, and you have approximately, let's say, 11 minutes, or for a 15 marker. Normally we have 15 marker, 11 minutes, and you see a question. Now within seconds you will have to decide, right? In this question, what exactly is asked, and what is the demand of the question or the examiner, and what should be the introduction. So I need to know what is going to write as the intro, and what are the points that I need to write in that, what are the relevant discussions I need to make, and what are the dimensions I need to cover. And one important rule I've already discussed in the previous session. Let's say if it is 15 marker, what you will do immediately, you will immediately divide it into 5 dimension, and you will try to focus on 3 points each for the dimension. So if you remember that and if you follow that, it's going to be slightly easy. And then which example that I'm going to add for these dimensions, and which diagram that I'm going to draw in this, and finally what conclusion I'm going to make in this. And all of this must happen before writing even starts. So only after you know what is my intro, what is my conclusion, what examples I'm going to give. It's not, as and when the point comes, when you write, you will, add that. It should not be like that. And that is why mains is not just a knowledge test, it's actually a thinking test. I have done a previous video also. So what is the most important skill? Think fast. Now if you can think fast, actually you can write fast. And majority of the students, they keep focusing on improving the writing speed. So the real challenge is thinking fast. If your thoughts are coming right, if you're then the flow will be there, and you can write also fast. So normally successful candidates are not necessarily those who are writing faster. They are those who think faster and identify the demand of the question immediately and break into parts. And see, let's say two students, A and B, they possess the same content. And student A, let's say he takes some time to understand the question, let's say 3 minutes, right? Student B only take 30 seconds. Now, who have the advantage? Definitely, student B have the advantage because he understood, and he have that thinking capacity, and because of that he understood things in 30 seconds. Because of that extra minutes that he is getting, he can have a better improved structure, and you can add more examples, you can think of more examples, you can add diagrams, you can improve your conclusion. Because of that, your preparation should be focused on what? To train your brain to think quickly. Once you can think quickly, then automatically the flow will be there. That will definitely help you to write faster. So it is not the other way around. Writing fast, you keep on practicing for writing speed. That is, if you don't have the thinking speed, if you don't have the content which is not coming in flow, what is the point in having writing speed? That is why I always tell the content alone is not enough. In fact, this is one of the biggest myth in UPSC preparation. So you think that if I read more content, I'll score more marks, right? It is not necessarily like that. It is not like that because UPSC rarely asks direct questions, right? Instead, what UPSC is doing, they normally go with applied question. So here, again, it's not about the content. It's about the thinking. It's about the structure. It's about how you are going to present it. You may have the broad knowledge, but the challenge is actually here how you're going to fit that knowledge based on the demand of the question. And that is where most of the candidates, most of the aspirants struggle. And the issue here is not lack of content. Everyone who's writing mains have enough and more content. The issue is inability to apply the content based on the context of the question which has been asked. This is a problem. Right. Now, let me also discuss this difference between knowledge and application. See, imagine UPSC is asking, why is the fast food industry growing despite increasing health consciousness? Right. So here, health consciousness is increasing, right? Because of social media, because of so many social media doctors, influencers and all. But still, fast food industry, see, this health consciousness means what? You normally won't prefer fast food. So this is also growing. Right now, most of the students already know fast food is unhealthy. And because of fast food, obesity can be there. It is having high calorie. It is using not a good oil, used oil multiple times, right, in fast food. And lifestyle diseases are increasing. And all these, most of the students know. But is a question is talking about that? Question was asking, why does the industry continue to grow despite all these concerns, despite having the consciousness of all these? Why still it is increasing? Now, what you have to think about? You have to think about these dimensions. It is not, see, question is already acknowledging, right? the fast food is unhealthy, consciousness is already there, obesity is there, and all these, question also acknowledge that. So what you need to think is why it is growing. It could be because of convenience, right? I can easily get it. It could be you need to connect it with urbanization, right? And dual income household, marketing, the way fast foods are marketed, right? And it can be aspirational consumption, the delivery platforms, and the time constraints. So if you need to write these points, that definitely require thinking. And do you think memorization is going to help you in this? No. Right? So that is no way going to help you. That is why I told you thinking is very important. Now, most importantly, what you need is you need to identify the demand of the question. That's the demand of the examiner. You're writing for the examiner. So every UPSC question, if you take, there is a demand in that. So your first task is to identify what is the core demand of the question. Now, if imagine you misunderstood the demand or you're not able to understand the demand. If you misunderstood also, it's dangerous. If you're not able to understand also, it is going to take time and it is going to be dangerous. Even with excellent content, if you didn't understood it properly, you won't fetch mark, you won't get mark. For example, let's say you got a question whether the tribal development in India revolve only around displacement and rehabilitation. So many candidates here start talking about displacement and rehabilitation. But what is the question? The question actually contain a hidden demand here. Does it only revolve around these? Right? So I hope you got the question. The question is, does tribal development in India revolve only around displacement and rehabilitation? Now, you talk about displacement, rehabilitation, and the issues associated with it. But the question actually asking you about what is the demand? Does it revolve only around these? So you need to know other things like Forest Rights Act, right? Tribal empowerment, education, health, right? So tribal development also revolve around education. Tribal development also revolve around health, livelihood. Not only about displacement and rehabilitation, environmental rights, tribal empowerment, forest rights acts, everything. So that is actually the demand of the question. And what is important here? Identify the demand of the question. So now, can we practice thinking? Remember, guys, thinking is not automatic. Many aspirants assume when I reach the examination hall, I will automatically think properly and I get the answer because I've read enough, but that rarely happens. Thinking is a skill, right? And like every skill, it requires deliberate practice. So that flow should come, right? So just as writing will improve your answer writing, thinking will improve through your question analysis. So now what should be the content strategy for mains? Let's discuss about the content, which is again very important. So see, there is a limit to how much content you can read, of course, right? And we need to keep reading, we need to keep revising, we should be in a position to reproduce. So beyond the point, reading, is not going to significantly improve your answers. Yes, of course, you need to have that fundamental knowledge and everything, but beyond a point, it is going to be, you get saturated at one point. So what matters then? What matters is your understanding. And from the content that you already have, how you're going to apply that and how you are going to organize that and how you are going to make interlinkage. So to make that interlinkage also, what you need to think properly, right? And interlinkage is most important. This is again one of the most most important point that actually students misunderstand. So in fact, these topics should not be studied in isolation. They should be studied through interlinkages. For example, if you look at GS1, right, you have earthquakes, you have cyclones, tsunami. Similarly, when it comes to GS3, you have disaster management. So what you need to do, you will have to study this disaster management and these topics together. So that means you can cover it easier, you can cover it better, and you interconnected also. Similarly, in GS1, you have this topic like urbanization. GS2, you have urban governance, and GS3, you have urban infrastructure. So why can't you combine it together? Why can't you interlink all these three, GS1, GS2, GS3, these topics? Urbanization is there in coming to Indian society, and then urban governance in GS2, urban infrastructure in GS3. Similarly, let's say in GS2 you have India and neighborhood, right? India and neighborhood, neighbor countries. GS3 you have in internal security and all border management. So don't you think these are again connected? So when I'm studying about India and its neighbor, for example, Bangladesh or Myanmar or whatever, I'm also connecting it with border management with this. So that is how I have to interlink and I have to cover these areas. So you should not study these topics in isolation. Rather, we should interconnect and then we should cover. Why this is important? Because UPSC is, uh, does not think in paper-wise silos, right? UPSC think in terms of themes. So the same issue that you see in GS1 can come in GS2 and GS3 in a different angle. So the candidate who interlink, they automatically gain that advantage. They get different dimension, they get different perspective, and they can think in different angles. So that is again giving you that better advantage. Okay, now see, before studying any topic, just follow these steps. This is how, in fact, the framework that I give to my mentees, right? How to study any topic. So let's say the step one. First, what you need to have a clear understanding of the syllabus. So you read the syllabus. Now, what is step two? Step two is identify interlinkages. Okay, and what is step three? All previous year questions. Identify all the previous year questions. And what is step four? I again discussed this many times. Understand the recurring themes. Right? Of course, UPSC is not going to repeat question word to word. That's not the purpose of previous year question. It is for understanding the themes, and through that we will be covering. And accordingly, you will be building your notes. Now the question is, in this 80 days, do we have time? No, that is why we are here. I'm here. I'll be taking care of that, right? Especially with respect to this 200 macro themes that I have discussed. Okay, now the question that majority of you ask me is how to make these notes. In fact, that we are giving to you, but still many students make the mistake. They keep writing everything, right? But that's not the case. You should only be writing the keywords. You don't want to write word to word what they have said. You understand. And the moment you see the keyword, you should be in a position to understand this, and you should be in a position to connect. So keywords and the triggers, right? And the framework. This is what I mean by the notes. It is not like you are reading a newspaper or you are reading an editorial. It is not just cut, copy, paste or writing the same thing which you find in the editor. That's not what I mean. And over a period of time, you will also realize that I cannot reproduce all these. So what I'm looking for is the keywords. I find some beautiful words, right, with respect to this topic. I want these to be used. I cannot do that with paragraphs, but I can do that with the words. Frameworks, very good frameworks if you get, and some data points, right? Examples, which is again very easy to remember. So this is what I mean by notes. So what is the objective of note making? It is not, you already have enough information overload. So the objective of your notes is only this: recall. Why I'm making notes? To recall whatever I have read. Otherwise, I have the source very same source with me already. Right? Now, see, let's talk about topic. Any topic if you take urbanization, right? So how your notes should be, right? Let's talk about urbanization. So you will have a definition, right? And then you will have the basic concept. Forget about this, any topic, right? So you'll have a basic concept and there will be some process of that. And even if it is urbanization or nuclear family, whatever, there will be some social effect. These are the dimensions that I want you to think in. And once you have the dimension, then it is very easy to write. Social effect, and then there will be some problems. And so for these problems, there will be some solution. And then there will be some government initiatives. which you have already read for prelims and mains, and there will be some case studies. And can you connect it with the sustainable development goals? And what are the best practices which has been done in within our country in different states or other countries also? So what are the best practices? Now, if you have this framework, don't you think that any questions can be handled? Right? Or we have a problem solution framework. This is another powerful technique that we used to follow. Never remember a problem alone. Always remember its solution. Right? For example, let's talk about this urban flooding. Okay. So what is the solution? Better drainage planning, rainwater harvesting, wetland conservation, right? Or if the problem is, let's say, traffic congestion, then what's the solution? Mass rapid transport, public transport, transit oriented development, like this. So this approach actually make your answer writing much easier and smarter. Always remember, guys, this structure is again very important. I hope you are following me. Questions I'll take towards the end. So structure is more important than volume. Many aspirants think that thick notes means good preparation. That's not the case. So I would say good notes means it should be short, it should be structured, right? It should be structured. It should be keyword based, as I've already told you. And what is the purpose? To recall. So it should be easy to revise, right? And role of previous year question, I've already told you. So you'll have to focus. Previous year questions are not merely practice question. I'm not expecting previous year question will repeat as such, but that is going to give you UPSC language. That is giving you UPSC priorities. That is going to give you UPSC pattern. That is telling you what to expect or what UPSC is expecting from you. Ultimately, that is revealing the mindset of UPSC. Because of that, before studying any topic, read all previous year questions related to that. Only then begin preparation, or go through the previous year questions and make your themes and then start preparing for that topic. Right, and answer writing is not separate from your preparation. Many students will say that I'll complete content first and then I'll start writing answer. That will never come. This is a serious mistake. So study and answer writing, it have to happen simultaneously. Because when you're writing answer, it will tell you what you know, what you don't know, and what is missing, and what need revision. And it also help you to retain the content. Remember the content when you're writing. Right, and you need to develop the skill of answer writing. It will be difficult in the beginning as you are coming maybe from a different area, technical background, and you don't have much knowledge also. So initially it will be difficult. You'll make mistake. You have a mentor. You'll talk to him. You get the feedback. You'll improve. You keep improving, and the idea is to keep moving forward. Right. So what is the main component when it comes to answer writing? I told you answer writing is a skill, it can be developed. So the first skill or to develop the skill, first what you need to understand the demand of the question. Then only you can do anything. And then what I need is I need to have structure. I give you different types of question, the keywords and the structure. And then I should be in a position to write very good introduction. And I need to have body that my content will give you. And I need to present that in a proper structure with example. And then I need conclusion and I need examples. Now, that is a skill part, right? So this is something which we can develop. Beyond that, we need to add these, everyone can do the content, introduction and everything. So what value addition we can make, that is the question now. So here again, you need to work upon, you need more data, which will make your answer stand out or more reliable. You can use reports, right? You can use committees. You can use examples, which I've already mentioned here. You can use current affair, you can use case studies, right? So both are essential, the skill as well as value addition. Now, let me also, I've already planned, if you are looking for 10, 12 quality hours for the next 80 days, what you're going to do to cover the syllabus. So what we are going to do is we are going to split equally. We will be giving 6 and 6 for your GS and optional. Considering that you spent enough time for GS for the last 6 months for your prelims and majority of the areas are overlapping and you have not studied optional for at least 4 or 5 months. So that is why 6 hours for your optional, 6 for your GS. Now, if you are someone who's stretching it to 15 hours, it's perfectly fine. I'll be happy. 16 hours, I'll be more happy. That's enough. Okay. And within GS also, if you are giving this 6 hours, out of that, 90 minutes or 2 hours, you give only for answer writing. My mentees, Kiran last year, 53rd rank, Sachin last year, 39th, 41st rank. You have written 5,000 answers. Kiran have written 1,000 answers, right? So give time, 2 hours for writing practice, keep writing answers. Rest of the time, you look for study. In optional also, do the same. 2 hours for writing, 4 hours for study. So in a day, you are spending 4 hours out of 12, 1/3 for answer writing, because this is a game of answer writing presentation. One golden rule: do not wait to finish your syllabus or studying to write answers. Write daily answers even when you are studying. That actually accelerate your learning also dramatically. You can't understand that now, but that accelerate the process. So if I need to give a month-wise strategy, we have June. Now, during this month, June, we just started, right? So it's June 3rd. So what is your priority now? The areas which you might not have covered during your prelims. So you can focus on society. Easily you can cover human geography. You can also cover world history and post-independence India. Disaster management areas you can cover. Ethics also you can start with. That's something which you need to cover, right? And then you'll start with the same content. July, right? Then you stretch to the other areas, and then you go with continuous revision, answer writing, and test. See, we follow the process every day, so you naturally will be in alignment with this only. Every day we get connected in the group and we follow the same. By 25th of July, I want you to finish content. That means from here, 55 days or 60 days, 55 days, we are going to finish the content, right? This is the target. Now, August, there is no more content acquisition. Only revision, only test, only simulation, and only answer writing, nothing else, whether it is optional, whether it is GS. Before that, you have to complete ethics and disaster management, internal security, your prelims areas, history, geography, polity, economy, everything, governance, everything, international relation, everything. Why? Again, test series is very important. So we'll not only be writing answers, we'll also have to take test under the simulated condition, right? Again, see, what matters is, can you complete the paper in time? Right? If you cannot complete the paper in time, then it is of no use, whatever you study. And when you're completing, I want 16 to 17 high quality answers and maybe 2 or 3 average answers. One you may not be knowing also. Right? So the biggest mistake candidates make is, see, most candidates work like, low effort, low effort, low effort. And then when it comes to exam, they panic. Then start doing the sudden effort. We don't want, or you start with a high effort and motivation drops. That also is not required. So if that happens again, anxiety will come, burnout will come, poor performance will be there. So instead, what we need to be consistent. Next 80, 85 days, we need to be consistent. Every day you have to show up, right? 12 hours for sure, minimum. 15 if you can, it will be best. So do not overthink, do not overplan, do not compare. In our group also, different types of people are there. There are people who have written 5 mains also in our group. There are who attending for the 6th last attempt also there. There are people who already scored, got the rank also there in the group. So don't compare, right? We all have the same plan. We are studying the same, right? Open your books and start working. Action. If you are busy, means in reality, if you are busy, this action if you are taking, that reduces the anxiety. If you have nothing to do, that is when this anxiety and overthinking and everything will come. So if you have that, if you do action, there will be progress. That progress you will see, and then the anxiety will come down. Execution will reduce the anxiety. So what you need to do is action, progress, execution. Right? So guys, next 80 days, that's not ordinary day. That's going to define your next 40 years, could be 50 years, right? Life is going to be decided here. But that's not life anyway. I'm not emphasizing on that. But if you focus on this, you will be there, right? So don't think about result. Don't think about prelims cutoff, competition. Don't compare. Don't think about what others are doing. Focus only on what I've told you, what you can do, what you can do in the next 80 days, right? So the next chapter, the next answer, the next topic in the syllabus, next macro theme, right answer, your optional. This is all what you need to do. So the next answer, next revision, next topic, next answer writing, next test. This is the only thing. Keep doing action. Keep improving. That progress is what is required. Every day, 1% improvement. That's all what we need. 1% improvement every day. If you can do from here, 80 days, you will be making an improvement of 100%. You already cleared prelims, means you are at the top. So from here again, if you can double, means you are going to be the champion. So mains is not won by any smartest candidate or intelligent candidate. I want consistency. Mains is won by the candidate who execute consistently every single day. Make improvement every single day. So begin today, not tomorrow, not after the result, not after the cutoff discussion. It's today. Because these 80 days, if you use properly, that will change your life completely. So that's about the session, guys. Any questions? Let me stop the recording.